Okay, welcome back to Waxed and Unfiltered, the TCB podcast. This is episode 2, where, as always, we go behind the marketing, we go behind the gloss, we go behind the beads. So today we are asking one of the biggest questions that keeps coming up in all social media forums. Does the detailing industry have a truth problem? Now, the gloves are off on this one. We have got a very prestigious panel. We've got two of the most influential and positive people in the industry, and we've also got Karl Hampson joining as well. Just joking.
No. That's very, very unfair. Everyone unfamiliar with this panel here. The two hosts is Andy and Karl. They run the Car Boutique, which is a huge Facebook group. It's a channel, and it's this new podcast channel. And I always told the guys they have kind of a unique setup because they are the only ones that do videos with two persons and not just one. So they are a little bit like the old Top Gear trio in that respect. And I think that Karl is a very interesting mix of Hammond and May.
He is. Is that a compliment or a criticism?
Yes.
I'm not sure
definitely.
yet if that's a compliment.
Yes, that is a compliment. Yes.
Right, so people listening on Spotify don't know who we are. So, very kind words, Andreas. I'm Andy Fraser. I'm the owner and creator of all things The Car Boutique, and we are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And like Andreas has just said, we have just launched this dedicated podcast channel because we felt the industry needed a podcast that stayed on the topic of detailing and addressed some core issues with some great guests. This is episode 2, so if you haven't watched episode 1, go back and watch it. It's a great discussion on is wax dead. But today we are joined by, like I said, two great people and my co-host Karl. So if you'd just like to introduce yourself and what you do, who you represent, and where you're calling from, this is evidence that the Car Boutique has gone truly global. So Karl, tell me about yourself.
Tonight's episode.
So my name's Karl Hampson. I help run the Facebook group. I help Andy with the YouTube channel and with this podcast. So looking forward to it, looking to get into the nitty gritty of all these detailing subjects. And I'm hoping that my enthusiasm for this detailing world brings some light to it as well.
Beautiful. You're going to have to start showing that enthusiasm on our videos.
Are we going there, Andy?
I think
that's
unfair. Andy, that's very unfair because I think his enthusiasm is buried under your technical questions.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. Let's stay fair to Karl.
And I do all the legwork. You never see Andy doing any of the washing. He's there behind the camera hiding.
I know. All right,
True.
we'll move on.
Very true.
Good. I'm just setting up Andreas to react. I'm just warming Andreas up. I'm seeing what kind of a mood he's in, and it's going to be a good part. It's going to be a great podcast. Just for information, I've known Karl for about 15 years. We're both senior engineering managers. And Karl, like I said, joined the YouTube channel 2 years ago. And it was actually Andreas's idea to get another person on the YouTube channel. And I'll go into my relationship with Andreas. It's purely platonic. Don't worry how he has helped the channel. So, Karl, thank you very much for joining us. I know you've got a lot going on. Karl has just become a granddad. Someone drove into his car and his house is getting rigged. He has, absolutely. So granddad Karl, he's got damage to his car and he's got a lot of maintenance going on in his house. So it's a stressful time for you, Karl.
Just a little bit.
Didn't the wax you put on that car protect it from the damage?
Well, we are going to go
on.
Well, if you listen to the claims, it's scratch resistant, bullet resistant, and fireproof. So we'll come back to that. So, Mr. Schwarzinger, tell us about yourself. Most people on the TCB know who you are. You've done many podcasts with us, but give us a brief as to who you are, where you're calling from, for people on Spotify.
I'm the definition of a detailing enthusiast, which got deeper into the industry. I started to be part of the largest German-speaking YouTube channel in that area, which is called Detailing School. I have been doing that for, I think, 6 or 7 years. Now the dogs are starting. Well, perfect.
Good background ambience.
Yeah. And then I also became a trainer for Sonax in Switzerland, which means if people want to get into the Sonax system and get detailing training, I am running that. And I'm also a trainer for Ledermax, which is a Austrian brand specialized in leather care and leather repair. And then about, I think, 2 years ago, I started this podcast project together with Reggie and Labocosmetica, which is called Veritas. So we did our own podcast which focuses pretty much on what we try to talk about today, bringing some truth into the detailing industry. And that's how the idea for this podcast started.
It did indeed. In fact, the genesis for this was about 2 days ago. The next day, I get a call from Andreas saying, I've got Reggie, let's do it. And I'm thinking, whoa, let's go. Andreas is he's playing his capabilities down. He's an academic as well. I think he does a lot of university work as well. So behind that enthusiasm, there's quite a good brain there, Andreas. I'm trying to embarrass you to see how you react to good praise, and you're taking it quite well. For people on Spotify, he's just grinning, saying, Andrew, please move on. He backs everything up with data. He just doesn't shoot from the hip. He backs opinion up with reasons, rationales for why he comes to these conclusions.
At least I try. Yeah.
Absolutely, which we respect. So at last, I am pleased to say we have got Reggie Cox on the podcast channel after 2 years of myself and Karl saying we've got to get Reggie on. For those who don't know you, who've been living under a rock, Reggie, who are you, what do you do, and where are you calling from in the globe today?
What's up, everybody? My name is Reggie Cox. I am calling and living in the Netherlands. I am the brand representative, trainer, managing trainer for the world, and the product development. That's basically my job.
They're very modest.
Labocosmetica.
For Labocosmetica, of course, my God. Yeah. For the people that live under, just came under that rock, the Labocosmetica, Italian, highest grade chemicals in the world, beautiful.
Bold claim, we'll discuss that. We'll come back to that claim.
100%, yeah, 100%. I'm going to get that back in my face.
Absolutely. I used to live in Holland, actually. Do you know Roermond?
Of course, it's from the south. It's where the other half of the family is from, my father's side.
Oh, right, yeah, I lived there with my family 79 to 82. So,
wow.
Absolutely. I'll tell you why I lived there off air. Loved Holland. Loved Holland.
You got some Dutch for me? You got any Dutch words?
Guilders, that's all I can remember. So
it's the currency before the euro was indeed the gulden.
That's it. So fantastic. So thank you very much, everyone, for spending probably about 60 minutes. Sometimes these things go on for 90 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. And as always, thank you very much for sparing the time to talk to us. We've just been discussing, we're going to discuss a lot of juicy stuff here. The gloves are off. We've all agreed to speak openly and freely. And the conversation we hope will carry on after the podcast in the comments section of the channel, where you can ask Karl, Andreas and Reggie questions. They will be monitoring it. We will answer, and it'll be interesting to see what you think of the things that we've got to say, and we'd love you to express your opinion as well. So continue that conversation would be really, really good. So before we get into it, I'm sure Andreas has got lots and lots of questions. Reggie Cox is looking nervous, and Karl's just like a coiled spring because he's excited that his hero Reggie's on the podcast. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is just quickly, briefly, as an introduction, what do we all mean by truth in the industry? What does that mean to you? What does truth mean? Karl?
Honesty. It's brands being honest with the end user, whether that be longevity claims, whether that be, I hate that word, gloss, everything else like that. I can't even think of the word now, but the aesthetics of the car, all that kind of stuff. It really, just be honest with the people.
Mm. So the suggestion is that you don't feel the industry necessarily supports that. Potentially there's not honesty, there's not transparency, there's claims that can't be substantiated. That's why we're having this conversation, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Andreas, I'm looking forward to this one. What does truth in the industry mean to you? What are we trying to achieve by having a conversation about truth? Suggestion there isn't truth, or what does truth mean for you?
I mean, in very briefly and very shortly, more honesty and more integrity. Because that's what I personally see and feel is missing. Because yes, you can always have the point of view that you say marketing is necessary, marketing is a necessary evil. I take that very personally because I studied marketing, and I have never seen a marketing literature that says it's okay to lie to people. Yes, you can have that standpoint or point of view, but I don't think it's okay to lie to people. And I also don't think it should be the standard. Just because some brands, some people do it, why should you follow it? Why should you follow a bad thing and not instead try something better? Mm. That's what I feel is missing, and that's what I refer to when I say we need more truth.
You get quite a lot of I will say it, backlash when you're trying to promote
absolutely.
this fact. And we'll come on to that later. you do get people who are quite critical of you analysing products, but we will come to that because that in itself is a problem, and we'll ask ourselves why that happens. So, Reggie, you're obviously supporting the brands. Labocosmetica, I will say it's a great brand with a superb reputation. But without going into the brand side of it, what does truth mean to you? You're an honest brand, so truth must be behind everything you do and say. So, what does truth mean in terms of the detailing industry to you?
That it's real. 100% real, repeatable, real results, real tests. Everything is real. Then there is no statements. It don't need to be made. You just show it's real. It's the reason why I had to go travel the world, because it's the education part became the most important thing. We made a product. We changed something. We said something. It's a little bit controversial, or at that time frame. So it was important for me to go to the places, to give the people the opportunity to ask questions, to see this, and then change their minds by showing them instead of promising them.
Because the 3 pH system got quite a lot of discussion, didn't it?
Yeah, it's still on. It's still going.
Yeah, we use it. We used it. We used it, like I say, right through 2024, and we still use it now. We understand the concept of it, but it did get a lot of challenges, which is good. We like to be challenged. Reggie, do you look at other brands and look at their marketing claims? Do you look at what they're doing? Just really focus on your own integrity in terms of Labocosmetica's image going out there in the industry?
I have to be honest that, of course, I'm always thinking about the image of Labocosmetica in everything I say, everything I do, privately, in my everything. It's from the military. If you're wearing a uniform, everybody's looking at you. You count for the entire organization. If you behave stupid, the entire organization affects that. But I look at other brands, of course, but I reached that point years ago when I was still let's say that the culture of detailing about 15 years ago started getting up, and chemical guys started getting ground and started getting exposure. That type of detailing, that's what I started with, trying to layer up 25 different detailers on top of each other because it felt right. It was nice to see. It gave me the idea that the car was really more glossy. That's the idea I presented to myself. But at some point, I wouldn't say grow up, but I expected more, and from that expectation came disappointments, and from disappointments came, okay, we're now at that point that it doesn't matter what it says on the bottle, how long it's going to last. I am now here in the Netherlands. I'm going just to buy the product. I'm going to try it for myself. I'm not going to look to anybody else. Just going to follow instructions and make my own judgment. Now, luckily, it's now my job, and now somebody's paying me to do that. But in this way, when the marketing claims, if you believe them and you get disappointed to a point that you're not willing to believe anymore. Or you are going to sit down and take responsibility. And is there something that you can look through? Is there something that you could say, if something is too good to be true, is it then really so? You know, we have dishwashing, what's it called? For your fabrics, for your home, for your clothes. They promise for years. It's always clean, always. But sometimes you get from the football match, you come home, it's beyond that grass inside. It's not going to go wash the first time. Do we call those companies up and say, your commercial says you wash perfectly? No, it's marketing. It's been there forever. But somehow in this industry, people are grabbing onto the marketing like legendary stuff, like magic is happening right in front of them. And then when you have then an opinion that is very, very strong and you start blasting that opinion online without being asked for it, opinion, if you ask for an opinion, share your opinion. But nowadays it's just throwing around opinions based out of nothing, thin air or personal beliefs. And then you get this distorted view of what it actually should have been if everybody just followed the same rules. So very short because I want somebody else.
I want this opportunity to get into the mind of Reggie. So you talk as long as you want because it's good for people to hear.
Durability claims. Yeah. I've been touching this subject for a while now, trying to explain to people how they really come to the durability claims. And the durability claims are not really claims. It's not the brand literally claiming it's going to last 8 years, because they cannot know, because they didn't test for 8 years. They used other things to test a sort of acceleration. The claim on the bottle is not really that it's going to last. It is the sequence of what the testing showed that it predicted that could last.
So it's almost like a simulation, a small snapshot, and then they look at the degradation and then put that into some kind of simulation.
But this is something
up to 1,000 hours. corrosion tests, UV tests.
Go on, Reggie.
Sorry, Karl.
But this is something that I was going to say. That a large proportion of brands probably do, a large portion of it is lab testing. So like you said, they're doing that erosion element, UV element. Now, there's probably very few companies out there that do huge real world testing. Now, I know, Reggie, you're going to say Labo is one of them because we've heard you speak about it before. You go to pretty much all four corners of the earth with your products to prove and test in those environments. So we can, but there's very few companies that go to that extreme to be truthful about those.
It's simply not possible. It's simply not possible for all these companies to do this. They need these accelerated tests, and they will give a really good idea. Only the driving around and the stuff flying onto the car, they are not the same. So the exposure to UV. So if they make these tests, and some manufacturers actually do, they state the ASTM and the ISO tests, so you can look them up. You can see what kind of a grade, and some of them are actually pretty awesome because they use a fine silica powder to scrub the surface to see the resistance versus washing. But it's a very finicky test. You have to have an exact amount of pressure with 25 micrograms of silica powder per something, because if you don't follow this test really, you don't get the result. So what they do is they go for the easier tests, and they have to because can you really, okay, we got the greatest formula in the world. It's today, 12 February. We are going to start testing it real life now. We are for sure. We are going to wait 8 years, 2020, 2030 or something. I don't know, what is it, 2036? The coating is still there. Now we launch. Do you understand how much has happened in that 10 years? That coating is probably, nobody's using that stuff anymore because they already figured out something else, something new. So if you test with these tests and you state that you did, and your real world testing is something like this, then you can give a prediction that's much, much more. But now they give you the idea because it says 8 year on the bottle. And this is also a part of the consumer to take responsibility, not to just swallow everything they're just throwing at you. But think about this. Okay, listen to what they are saying. This 30 milliliter bottle is going to give the car something that's going to last 8 years. That should have been the story for the customer, but it's not. So they get encapsulated and magicianized and magic and hocus pocus all over the place. And before you know it, everybody's hanging on, my God, it's 1 year. It's already failing. Oh my God, this coating is bad and blah, blah, blah.
And then the drama starts.
And then the drama starts. But the entire operation, if you look at the preparation, the greasing, everything was wrong.
True. The whole topic of this durability, it's a fantastic start into this podcast and this episode and what it's all about, because going back to what we're trying to talk about, the truth, let me try and put it into words. We completely understand that durability claims need to be there as some sort of an orientation for the consumer, because it's pretty much the first question anyone asks about a protective product: how long will it last? It's never how easy is it to apply, what does it smell of? It's always how long does it last? Because we live in an overcrowded market. We need some orientation in regards to putting those products against each other. So we are trying to go for the cheapest, easiest to apply, but still longest lasting. I understand that. But then again, this whole durability claim thing that the brands compete against each other. What I never understood is that these brands don't understand that it's a downward spiral for the whole industry. Yes. Because if brand A comes out with a 1 year coating, then brand B will come out with a 2 year coating. Brand C will then do a jump to 5 years. Then another one goes to 8 years. Then another one goes to 10. And then we also have seen lifetime coatings or infinity coatings or whatever. And that it's just a downward spiral, because what will happen is consumers will go for the allegedly longest lasting. They will get disappointed and they will start to distrust every brand out there. So it should be in the best interest of any brand out there to stop this nonsense and stop this bullshit and just try to come up with something better, something more realistic, and just stop it. Because as I said, everyone will suffer from a lack of truth and lack of realism and lack of integrity in the marketing.
I started seeing this, and I think we talked about it on the Wax is Dead podcast, that I started to see this phenomenon when it right back to the days of car wax. It was
Absolutely.
My car wax has got 20% Knorber, and then 2 weeks later another brand was saying it 30, and I've seen it gone up to 80% Knorber. Big discussion of what that means in terms of its its relationship with how much wax is in it and all that kind of stuff. But you are on the money with this, and it's this longevity claim thing. Just for information, me and Karl tested. And Andreas already knows this. We tested 3 1-year ceramic coatings last year, and one failed after 3 months, and a couple after 6. And the video didn't. We didn't do an update video. We really should, because we've left people hanging thinking it's a 1-year coating. But we've also never found a wax that lasts its longevity claim. We have. There's a couple of ceramic coatings that have and are still doing well, and Labo is one, and G-Technic was another one, Serum Light and an Exo combination that's doing well. So that there's still going on, but as a general rule, and you've seen it in our YouTube videos, Andreas, we are in the mold of straight away cutting a longevity claim by 50%, and in our own experience, that's a bit more realistic, which it's a sad bit of Go on.
I would even go as far as saying a third of what the manufacturer claims is the most realistic you will ever get. In most case scenarios. Yes, of course, if you apply a protective product to a car that you put into a museum, yes, it will last a few years. But then again, a wax will last a few years in that scenario. So cutting it down to a third of what the manufacturer claims, I think is the most realistic you will ever get.
Absolutely. And I've seen some discussions that you've had, Andreas. I won't mention the brand. It's quite a recent brand with 8, I think, and 10 and 15-year coatings. And you've had this conversation online. I'm going to come to this later. There is a question about why do people get so aggressive, so so nasty on social media, and that's the reason why, just for Reggie's benefit, that's the reason why we started the Car Boutique sort of social media group 5 years ago. We were on other forums, and they were absolutely disgusting the way our people in the detailing community were talking to each other, and we bounced out of that and started the Car Boutique. And we side question, tangent. Is this just indicative of any subject on social media, or do you think the detailing industry, just because we're in it, feels so much worse?
No.
I
see this.
Off track, and the detailing community is not the only community. I'm a bit of another geek where I do online gaming, and obviously there's Facebook groups for that, and they can just be as abusive as the detailing community. So it's not alone. It's people. I'm not going to say it's people hiding behind the keyboard, knowing that nothing will come of it. So they're I want to say the swear word for it, but they're just too cocky, because there's nothing that will lead back to them.
Andreas, you were going to say something, mate?
I was going to say exactly the same. I see this so often then when people saying only the detailing industry is toxic. No, it's absolutely not. In every field of interest, you see it. If you're in the gun community and someone asks for the best weapon-mounted red dot or light, and then all the aggression starts. Someone recommends the cheap Chinese one, then the other one goes ahead and says, no, only the military tested stuff is. You have it in every industry or in every field of interest where there is a lot of choice, a lot of opinions, in every single one of it. With cars, I mean, all of us, I would say, are very close to cars and like cars, and you have it there as well. All the hate between fans of different brands, different tuners, it's exactly the same there. The detailing industry is not special in any way, shape, or form.
I think social media has provided a platform for a lot of people to do this. Okay, I think social media has allowed people to have online personas. And project their ego whilst hiding behind anonymity and all that kind of stuff. I won't go into details, but we had issues with someone once, and we were at Waxstock 2 or 3 years ago, and the said person walked past and didn't say a thing. So I did chuckle to myself.
That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I said, really?
I mean, that's not. I didn't invent that, but someone once used a very good picture. In the olden days, people would come together on a place in a village, and there was one idiot in every village, and the idiot was hang on in that place. And with social media, we now have just a huge aggregation of all the idiots, and they all suddenly have a voice, and that's the one big issue. We can't hang people on the trees anymore for being idiots.
It's just a thought that became digital and was uploaded onto the internet. Because if you the things you type normally, if you would pronounce them, your brain would interfere and say you are not able to say that. Your subconscious is going to interfere. Some of these things. So with a thought and comment, it's just two thumbs typing a piece of glass, of tapping a piece of glass, and before you know it, that thought that is just going to be there for a microsecond is now permanently on an internet platform. And you cannot redact it, but that's what it is. It's simply a thought, an emotion, and it went away in 2 seconds. It has no meaning.
Love that. So Reggie, do you think that product claims in the detailing industry are getting even more exaggerated?
This is a good question. It's not so much being more exaggerated. It is, you have to look a little bit deeper. What is the intention here? Why are we here? Are we here to contribute the detailing industry with the world's greatest products? Are we going to take the effort to make the world's greatest products? Or are we here for a capitalistic venture to fill our pockets really fast in an industry that is extremely popular and for the last 12 years is in the top 10 of rising industries in the world?
True.
So who wants to make the money and who wants to make the products? Whose intentions are whose? Is there somebody that really, really, really wants to start a brand because he thinks I'm going to contribute something with my flavor, and somebody that takes pride in their work and that really wants to change something and just to enjoy the people, you know? Or is there somebody that just does not really give one flying F and is just pouring liquid death and throwing words out there? And that line, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, that line is becoming thinner and thinner. The more dangerous stuff the last couple of years I've seen rising. And again, it's not the manufacturer's fault. It is the consumer's fault, because their desire is what the manufacturers is playing into.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to health and safety, because I know Andreas had a bit of a rough time on social media recently about health and safety. I have got a complaint though, Reggie. I've got a complaint against your brand, and I'm not very happy. Have you? Do you plan to release a hard wax for my collection? Because correct me if I'm wrong. Do
Andreas, you know about this.
Where
Andreas,
is it?
Answer this question immediately, because you know. The last time we had this conversation with Marco, it's simply the production, the ovens and the things, and that's the reason why there's no wax. It is a separate line of production. If it was liquid, let's go, no problem. Tell me what you want inside, we make it. But you want something like a hard wax. And for a hard wax, we need an oven. And then we need somebody that has done this before. And I can imagine that our chemist is pretty capable of filling up a formulation. But, you know, then it needs to be poured into something. And we need a guy for that as well. So
I can just see this. I can see this lovely glass pot with a lovely lid with the Labocosmetica label on it.
I will tell you the same as I told the Italians. What would be absolutely fantastic would be a wax pot in the form of the Colosseum in Rome.
That's true. You mentioned that before. That was indeed your idea. Yeah. But you claimed it. Now you claimed it. Now it's yours. So if there will be a Colosseum.
Going back to what you just said, Andy, I have a complaint about Labocosmetica. That is the beauty of it all, and that's very, very, very important to Reggie and me. We hold ourselves to the same standards that we hold others to. Because Reggie, do you remember which product it was? Because someone pointed out, because I criticized a brand that brought out an iron remover and claimed it has no odor. And then someone pointed out, your colleagues of Labocosmetica do the same. And in fact, that is true. And I told Reggie, and I'm not sure if they changed it yet, but that's exactly the beauty of it. We hold ourselves to the same standard. So if Labocosmetica, I will let them know, and I will also make videos about it. So that's very important. No matter how good you are friends with someone, the same standards have to apply.
I'm going to ask Reggie for the first pot of wax he produces, but I know that Andreas is going to be well in front of the queue for that one. So I'll ask for the second pot, okay? I'll ask for the second.
No. You can have the first one.
Oh, you're a lovely man. Going
back to the whole honesty and durability thing. Andy, you said gloves are off for this podcast, but
100%.
we all agreed we will not name names of persons, and we will not name brands. So if you're here for drama, you're in the wrong place. There are coatings out there, and I think that sums this whole discussion about durability claims up. There are coatings out there that were introduced where on the bottle, Reggie mentioned it, it says 8-year coating, or 5-year coating, or 3-year coating. And then at the same time, the brand owners or brand representatives made videos where they explained it does not really mean that they will hold up for 8 years or 3 years. It's more to differentiate the two. And then in a later podcast, the same brand owner said, to be honest, we did it because we felt that if we would not do it, we would lose sales. And I think that simple example and that one example tells you everything you need to know about durability claims. It is a lack of integrity in marketing. It's just that you fear you lose in sales, and that's why you do it. And that should not be the standard, in my opinion.
Do you think that is okay? We're not going to mention brands, but do we think that a country is significantly worse for their claims than, say, the European area?
Yes, it's the Americans. I have no problems with telling you that. I think the Americans are much worse in that respect. Or let's say America. Let's not say the person. Let's say America has a much looser relationship to claims in marketing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Linked into that, why do you think, and Reggie, answer if you feel confident, but when these brands are making their claims, they're 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, or this wax will last a year, why don't you think, or we I can't think of seeing one, why don't the brands publish their controlled testing data? Because that would put it to bed.
Some brands do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, as I say, it's like I said, sometimes you can find the research of the ASTM and the ISO tests they performed, and then you can look them up and you can see their grades and how they are performed and what this idea would give it to you. And then and if they do this, they claim, okay, we have this ASTM test, and they said we have tested this, and then they follow up on that test, then it's not a problem. But if they say we did this test, and now we say the coating is going to last for this amount of time, because that is not the truth. So if you're more transparent about saying how you got where you went, and that's why we show mostly the development. In between, you see stuff that we are doing, stuff that we are changing, and that leads to another product. But sometimes we have to close the book, and say, okay, we have to start over.
I'm going to. This is a tenuous link to. I've got some really juicy stuff, and I've got. Andreas is holding back, and just to let you know, I've got a whole page, and I'm just looking at. Am I feeling confident to ask this question yet? So I'm going to warm things up. So, and I know this is topical. I'm just going to come out with some bespoke niche questions. Why do brands lie about the pH level of their products?
Counter question: do they actually lie intentionally? Do they lie unintentionally because they just simply don't know it better? Or is they a gray area?
Because absolutely, Andreas. The reason why I asked that is my understanding. Yeah, my understanding of the pH scale is it's a logarithmic scale, so there's a massive difference between 3 and 4. My understanding was pH neutral is 7, and I can see why brands say pH neutral is that whole psychology of it's LSP safe and all that kind of stuff. I've heard people argue it's only pH neutral in the bottle, or it's slightly alkaline in the bottle, but it's pH neutral on contact with the paint surface and all that kind of stuff. But the latest I've heard is people defining pH neutral of a range between 6 and 8. That is a logarithmic scale, I think. Absolutely. So what are people's thoughts on that? Is it, like Andreas said, is it a bit of ignorance, or is it they're just trying to latch onto this pH neutral bit and they don't really think the consumer is going to notice, or it's not that important? Thoughts?
I mean, I know why you asked this question, because it's very big with me. But Karl, let's start with you.
Let's be honest. You are selling or attempting to sell a product to the end user. You have to be honest. And you have to be technically correct when giving that kind of information, STS information across. We all know that pH neutral can only be 7. So why make a bracket to it?
I mean, it's the same thing. I had this discussion with so many people. It's the same thing with horsepower ratings of cars. Because there is a difference between horsepower rating at the engine or at the crankshaft or at the wheels. And some manufacturers got caught out in the past when they stated something which the car did not really achieve. And there's this famous saying, I think every car guy will know it, that Porsche horsepower is different horsepower because Porsche is conservative. And their cars usually perform better than what the horsepower claims.
That's true.
And I, as a person, with everything I know, I would agree with you, Karl, in saying that pH neutral is 7. Period. It's a very clearly, scientifically defined concept within chemistry. pH neutral is 7. Period. And there's no arguing about it. We can argue if something that has a pH value of 6.5 or 7.5, which is very close to being actually pH neutral, I would have no issues with a brand claiming that it's pH neutral when it's 7.5, 6.5, and anything in between. But where do we draw the line? Is 8 still okay? Is 8.5 still okay? Is 9 okay? Because that's where I think lines were blurred. And usually when you try to understand, as we said, we will not name names, but there is this saying from one brand and one guy that there is a pH neutral range that is in between 6 and 9. And then you can try to understand how did he come up with that. Yes, there's the argument if you dilute the chemical, it gets closer to pH neutral. That's correct. But a range between 6 and 9 is a huge range. Yes, a chemical with a pH of 6 will be very close to neutral when diluted. And a chemical with a pH of 9, not so much. Then there's the scientific argument. Why 6 to 9? Because the pH scale is identical to both sides. So it would make much more sense to say it's 5 to 9. Or 6 to 8. That would make much more. Why 6 to 9? It's some sort of random there.
Isn't it?
And then you find out that this whole thing comes from the US regulations on what is an acceptable pH value for drinking water. And there they say acceptable is between 6 and 9. That's where it comes from. And that has nothing to do with car care chemistry.
Holy shit!
But that's usually what you have to try to understand behind all those claims. And for the average consumer, there's no chance in hell he will ever understand it.
Reggie?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Karl.
Obviously, that statement that was made, it was internet-wide within the detailing world and everything else. The bit that I suppose to a certain extent upset me about that one statement is I think a brand to a certain extent has a duty of care to that end user. And I think making a statement like that where it's factually incorrect is dangerous to that end user. And I don't think that is that part of integrity that we are talking about in this podcast.
It creates wrong standards because if we accept it from that brand, we accept it from every other brand, and then we open Pandora's box, and then suddenly everything is pH neutral.
We are going to do a podcast in the future about standards, how we're going to increase standard as a community, talking about things like IDA, PVD and all that kind of stuff. Does the industry need some kind of regulation? Because the way I see it, it's pretty much unregulated at the moment, but that's for another chat. But Reggie, I know pH, the whole rhetoric of pH, that conversation it features quite heavily in the Labocosmetica range, but where do you sit with this out of interest? Is pH neutral 7? Is a range? Is it that important? Does the end consumer need to be given the truth, or does it really matter? Does it really matter if there's a slight offset left and right? Is it slightly acidic? Is it slightly alkaline? Does it matter? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely it matters. It needs to be. It's science. There's no debate. There is no debate. That's what is called science. Science is something, stating something, being able to test something and repeat that same thing over and over. That is science. If we start blurring the lines, we're not talking about science anymore, and we go into danger areas. We are talking... what you said, it's probably best for a chat for another thing, but the legislation, the regulation, but there's also the governing bodies. They are getting away with it because nobody's checking it.
Yeah,
it's very simple. True. That's very simple. You can think of a law. You're not allowed to kill somebody, but there's nobody around checking if you're not killing somebody, then that law is useless. So the law enforcement of these brands and stuff like that, and eventually sometimes they get caught. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes bad, sometimes not bad, sometimes for the best, and sometimes they just start over and repeat the same stuff again. Some brands keep re-entering in the market, especially ceramic coating brands. They get caught. Oh, you don't have any SDS? Okay, then this is it, and they just restart, new label. The same formulation, and it just comes back into the industry. And it's simply because there's no law enforcement. And if you have law enforcement, okay, then we are going somewhere. And if you want to have own responsibility, so for me, I have been through the bad things of doing with chemistry. I've done real stupid shit, not in my labo days, but when I was younger. Really, really dumb stuff that I could have gotten killed. So it has a different meaning to me. I've also seen people go through chemotherapy. That's also chemicals. That it doesn't look. So I don't have that kind of a positive experience. So I treat these things because I've seen the bad things. So for me, it's easier to say, okay, that for me, it's becoming more important to know if this product is actually safe for this or safe, blah, blah. And that is where these SDSs come in. But now people are taking, so I might digress a little bit, but the creativity of not being able to blame yourself, but to blame something else is becoming legendary.
Yes.
I need demineralized water to make this product work. I need special humidity. It is unbelievable, but the reasons why something is a bad product, the creativity is becoming ridiculous. Ridiculous how creative they become and to try to blame everything except themselves.
And
also
agree.
pH level. No, I needed a pH neutral product. You have no idea what it is, man. If I could give you two, you wouldn't find out if you would drink them because both of them will kill you. 100%.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more.
By the way, just Andreas, last thing. I had a trainee from Cyprus a couple of weeks ago that by accident drank Bilthammer Touchless. With proof. He's a legend. So, by accident, because he was working and then he had a mixed bottle with Bilthammer Touchless and he said, I said, what did it taste like? Because it's sugar stuff inside. He said, it didn't taste sweet. But it was awesome. He survived. Everything is okay. His mom was a nurse, but it was by accident. So he didn't die, but he could have died. Yeah.
I love that.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm going to come to you in a second, Andreas, but I just want to mention two things. Refreshing to hear a brand welcoming additional regulation in the industry, because I had a chat it was an open forum chat on social media, and there was a few brands that were clearly against it. That suggests to me there's an element of fear. So it's actually good that a brand, a big global brand like Labocosmetica, you welcome some kind of industry involvement to regulate some level of independence, which is good. So
we've got nothing to hide.
We will get you on that podcast, which is good. Andreas, you're gonna say something.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Reggie, because going back to the whole durability thing, and the main question is, we can talk all day about why truth is important, but the other question is, why do brands act differently? Because there is no punishment. When a brand puts out a durability claim of 8 years and the coating fails, let's say after 3, where is the punishment? Because every coating manufacturer and every brand and every person behind the brand will first claim wrong application, wrong circumstances, extreme circumstances. That's the first thing they do. And then again, after 3 years, there's probably a version 2, 3, or 16 of the same coating. So he could say, yeah, but we improved it. So there is almost no harm in all those durability claims, because when these coatings start to fail, it's all gone anyhow. And that's why I personally also don't do testing on our channel of coatings, because there's no point in it.
No,
there's absolutely no point in it. And it's the same with pH levels. There is no punishment, because the general public does not really understand the concept of the pH scale and how it works and how it actually works. And so they just put out the claim. They can always go back to, but it's pH neutral once diluted.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll come
punishment.
to. I agree. And maybe two things, and then I'll come to Karl. Two things. Maybe additional regulation in the industry is a antidote for our truth issue. Maybe it'll clear a lot of that up. Okay, worth thinking about. And the other thing, the pH thing. I totally agree with you. I had a rough idea what pH was. I got sucked in to thinking, if I've got a Knorpel wax, I need to use a pH shampoo because I don't want to degrade my wax. And then I got into the whole ceramic coating and looked at the chemical resistance scale, and then I started looking at, well, my chemical resistance scale of this ceramic coating is from 2 to 13. I better make sure that my shampoo and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until I went to a training course with Karl went on as well, UK Detailing Academy. It was a one-day introduction course. I would say a third of that, and there was classroom-based stuff as well as going outside. aside, a third of that training day was purely talking about the pH scale. All right. And so Reggie's quite right. The average consumer is going to get suckered in by the marketing, the justification of you need this X, Y, Z. They don't really know why. So
I think Karl said it perfectly. What the general consumer understands is pH neutral is safe, and we can have a whole discussion about there exist pH neutral products which are not necessarily safe, but that's the general understanding, and that is the worth of using the term pH neutral in marketing. It creates the impression that something is safe for you as a person, for materials on your car, or for your chosen protective product. And you want to know the single most hypocritical thing is the brands which tell you that pH neutral does not have any worth in marketing, and they still use it, and which put out non-pH neutral products and say they are diluted, then they are pH neutral. The same brands give you a pH range in which their ceramic coatings are safe. And the same brands then tell you, yeah, but a pH 13 product can still be safe for my interior. It doesn't add up. They just try to have their cake and eat it too.
I think
they use it as they like.
Bullshit baffles brains. I think the phrase "bullshit baffles brains" is where some of this comes from. But it's I think we go on to this pH neutral and people think it's safe, but and from a pH level, it as such may well be in the fact that it's in that neutral element. But then there's all the other chemicals they've produced into that, which is why reading STS sheets is vastly important. And I think that's something that companies can do better. I can't remember the name of the brand that bought. I think they started adding QR codes to their products that you can log online to
many do by now.
Yeah, a lot do.
But there still seems to be this hesitation from certain brands to bring that in, because it's not always that easy to get the STS off said brands. And I think that's where consumers now need to show their voice, going, well, we want that information. It needs to be clearly either retrieved from the internet or from that QR code.
Yeah, true. And you know what? With many of those things, Karl just said it, it would be so simple to fix. Just put a QR code on those bottles which links to a website where I can download all the STS sheets in all the different languages. Hint, not all brands have the STS sheets in the language from the country they sell the products in, which is illegal by itself. It would be so easy to fix the pH thing by saying pH neutral once diluted. Car Pro does that with their Reset shampoo. They say it's pH neutral once diluted. That is factually correct. I have no issues with that. But then again, if you are a brand which just said pH neutral in the past, and now you're saying pH neutral once diluted, there's a very popular example from an influencer brand which did that, people start asking questions. And of course, it makes you look bad.
I'm going to move on because I'm looking at some questions and I really want to tap into Reggie Cox and Andreas while they're here, because I got some good questions coming up and I want honest answers from the two of you. Just I'll wrap up the pH thing. I personally, this is my the world according to Andrew, I think there's too much emphasis on, and this is not a naive approach, I think there's too much emphasis on pH as a discussion point, because the pH level of a product is a byproduct of the ingredients contained within the product. I think there should be more focus on the ingredients, why you're putting said ingredients together, what that brings to the party in terms of product performance, because pH is just a byproduct of the ingredients finished.
I could agree with that statement. Yeah.
And interesting what Karl also said, he mentioned the consumer. Reggie mentioned earlier, was the fact, paraphrasing, sometimes it's the consumer's fault. I'm going to go back to that point. Okay, is it the manufacturers? Is it the end consumers? But what I'm going to go on to now, and this is a juicy bit, have social influencers, have YouTube reviewers, by which you've got three people in the room, spicy. Reggie. Do content creators contribute to this truth problem? And let's really thrash it out, because
now it gets spicy.
So No, it's the big one, isn't it? It's the big one because I'm heavily involved with reviewing. I try and keep things honest, but I am subject to pressures, and we'll talk about it. So things I want to talk about are: is it possible to stay unbiased when brands sell you free products? Is it can you be unbiased when people are paying you? Now I know social influencers who are getting hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a 30-second Instagram. I know YouTubers that are getting thousands for long format. But are the main focus of a lot of brands marketing is not traditional marketing anymore. It's using social influencers. So my question to the panel is, have social media, have these influencers created this problem? Are they to blame? Are there good ones? Are there bad ones? What's everyone's opinion? Reggie, I'd appreciate you going first. Do you reach out to, he's laughing for people on Spotify. Do you reach out to social influencers? Are there ones, without mentioning names, that you trust? Because this is all about the truth. Or do you focus on your own controlled marketing and product exposure and stay away from people on YouTube, Instagram? Where does Labocosmetica sort of fit into this?
So I'm happy and very proud that we don't spend much on social media. Our social media budget is a joke. It's really a joke. If you look at the actual ads and stuff like that, we invest in other things, more important things. I'm also happy that we don't do big collaborations with influencers and stuff like that, with people that have opinions that you can buy.
Right, kick him out, Karl. Kick him out. We're not getting any business from Reggie now. I'm only joking, Reggie.
You know, I've approached sometimes some people. I've approached John DeLow once, and respectfully, he said to me, "Listen, man, I don't want you to tell me anything about the products. Don't give them to me. I will buy them at my own accord, and I'll figure them out by myself. Thank you very much."
That's the forensic detailer for people on Spotify. Yeah.
You're going to take away the exploration moment for me, so it's all respect. Thank you, and that's basically it. But I went to Jim White once. Just for have a cup of coffee, but because my boss really wanted, I need influencer and this and that, and I said, no, man, we don't need that. We need other people, actual real people that use these products that tell about the product itself. That's what we need. We don't need one guy. If you put the hopes up, and if I switch brands tomorrow. So for example, if I switch to Gion tomorrow, this. Everything I have done, everything I have said, everything is going to collapse immediately. What could be the reason for me to jump to another? And then how am I going to sell that? Didn't I have a good time at Labo? Were they not good for me or stuff like that? I chose this brand really simply because I can speak the truth here. I don't have to. I could over-exaggerate. I could lie and say that these products last longer and that they do this and that. But I don't. They are so amazing by themselves that I can do that. So, and I will be the first to say that we are not the best at putting the products out. Last year we released 3 products too fast. There are 2 legendary, the one with the V, the one with the T, and the one with the I, Varius and
yes.
Andreas, My God, still this is fantastic, but we didn't launch them properly. We were so, in the Malta, in the 60 year, and then pop, these products were there. Now we are thinking, maybe it's a good idea to spend a little bit more attention to these things. But hiring other people, I would rather discover somebody like we did in Korea. There was this collaboration going on between 2 people that knew each other. The one had a YouTuber brand, had a YouTube channel.
Reggie, did you do work? Sorry to interrupt. Did you do work with Katiba?
Yeah.
Yeah, we really hit. It's interesting, because we did a lot of Katiba stuff. They sent some stuff out to us last year. I really like the brand, and I'm pretty sure. Am I right in saying that there were some Labo Katiba products released? That's right. I saw that.
They have their own 3pH.
That's it.
But then with the Katiba design, and they have their own perfume. So
because you went out there, didn't you? You went out there and did some work with them. I'm pretty sure I saw some videos.
We have been working each other since 2019. Almost every year I go fly back and forth to Korea for the Mafra days. And we always shoot videos with them, and they shoot videos with us, and I shoot videos with local YouTubers just for there. And but they are good good is still a bad word, but they are really good ambassadors because they are a little bit like me, so they like the quality of the product. They like the niche that it's actually working, and especially when people are so extremely demanding, because I don't think realistically we will release a beating product that can beat their beating products, simply because we don't have the same ingredients, but that we are respected as an external brand that is so incredibly successful in a country like that is just a really, really big honor, and they are a big part of that. Jay as well, Jay from Korea, our importer, brilliant man, marketing man. He's now doing missionary work for the church somewhere in Africa. These kind of people I would like to have on my team, not a capitalistic, horny, money-hungry influencer that just wants to load his pockets and will say anything. Because it's for me, it's a little bit of form of prostitution. I'm selling myself for this brand, so I'm prostituting myself here. I'm doing something for a certain amount of money. I'm physically doing something.
That's a good word, actually, because I have that feeling about certain people who do YouTube channels that it's gone beyond, and I'm not mentioning people, but it's gone beyond unbiased reviews. It's about, and the word I use is whoring themselves out to a brand purely for brand exposure. Some people. But going back to the Korea thing, the South Korean market is huge at the moment. I think you've got Fireball, Katiba and all that kind of stuff. There is a big drive in that area of the world for some amazing detailing products. I'm really, really impressed with it. And we've got a contact in Fireball as well that sends us wax and all that kind of stuff. Andreas, have you got any Fireball waxes yet? I think you've tried some, haven't you?
I think I have all of them.
You have, yeah.
Or almost all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic waxes.
Reggie. Just while you're talking, a lot of I'm deliberately sticking on the influencers and content creators. You see a lot of shows around the world. There was Waxstock. There's, I'm presuming, Automechanic and all that kind of stuff. What's your opinion on non-professional detailers who are basically YouTubers? Getting up on stage and doing stuff? Should that be professional detailers? And I suppose the question is, who is best to promote or evaluate a brand? Someone who, like Andreas, like me, or a professional detailer who uses it day in, day out? Because that argument has gone away a bit, but that was a aggressive argument in 2024. Why are you, who should listen to you? You're not a professional detailer.
It's still going on, that argument.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that, Reggie? I get the impression you would go to a pro detailer.
Yeah, pro detailer, I would say, ask, of course, the professional. My professional is the one I would ask if we are trying out products. There's a very, very, very small group of human beings that I am discussing product development with when I send some products for testing. And one of them is extremely picky, and I need good data. I need good feedback. I need feedback from when it's bad, and I need feedback from when it's good. But I don't need feedback from stuff that I already know. So if somebody says, hey, man, this product smells amazing, you are not my tester. Then we are not going to dive into subjectiveness. I need video data of something that you did with this stuff that I can recreate.
Yeah.
And I'd rather do that with a professional. Reggie? I have a couple of professionals. Sorry?
Have you been watching
I watch your
videos?
Yeah, I watch some videos, but I have to watch so much that I have to...
I'll tell you what Reggie did. He thought, who the heck are the car boutique? And he went quickly and watched one beforehand so he could talk about... I'm only joking.
Years ago, you were one of the first to do a Magic 3 installation with Cupido.
Yes, that's right.
On a blue Polo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And how many years is that, Andy? How many years?
That's quite a few years ago.
So then we say, am I watching the car boutique? I've been watching some time now. Yeah, but I'm a watcher, so I'm not physically. I'm not the guy that's going to put his thoughts into a typing. I'm just sitting and watching, and then when I remember something, we talk, and then I remember you seeing that.
You've made my day. The fact that Reggie Cox has watched some of our videos, my life is complete now. The bucket list is empty. I can die a happy man. That's great stuff, Reggie. I'm going to come to Andreas. A couple of questions. I'm going to fire them in now. So, should reviewers disclose their relationship with a brand more? I.e., did they get it free? Are they getting paid? Is it anyone's business? Like I say, should that relationship with the brand, but should there be more transparency behind it? What are your thoughts?
That's a really tough question because it also affects me, obviously, and I can talk very openly about it. We on our channel also have cooperations with brands, but what we usually do is we test products which we buy ourselves quite a lot, actually, and if we find a brand that actually works really well, usually the brand reaches out to us because we made some positive videos, or we reach out to the brand and then a collaboration starts, but more in the sense of getting more airtime, which means we release more videos about one certain brand. And I think Reggie and I have been very open about it. We also have a paid partnership. But then again, I always tell people I'm not getting rich from it, and someone has to pay it.
Good deal.
And someone has to pay if I have to drive to Italy 3, 4, or 5 times per year. So those are just simply the costs of doing such partnerships. So we have those partnerships, and I'm on the fence about it. If the content is still real, and if you still have integrity as a tester, it simply doesn't matter if you have a partnership, if you receive the products for free, or even if you're getting paid for it, if the content is still real. Where it gets difficult is if, and that is my biggest criticism with a lot of testers and reviewers, if you publish something and name it a test or a review when it's actually a product presentation.
Yeah,
that is a good point. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a product presentation, but then it needs to be labeled as such. I have a partnership with brand X. It's a product presentation. I will just repeat what the brand told me, and that's it. But then don't label it as a test or a review. That's my biggest issue. And I think that's where it matters if you're getting paid or having received the products for free. I don't think it should everything should be disclosed, because not everything can be disclosed. There are some NDAs being thrown around, obviously. But if it's a product, if it's a simple product presentation where you just repeat what the brand is claiming, then yes, I think it should be disclosed. If it's a test, doesn't matter. If it's a real, true, proper test.
I think it is down to the integrity, the maturity, and the intelligence of the tester themselves,
yes.
where their own moral compass is. But without mentioning names, there is someone on social media who, you can go back a year or two. It got out that they were getting paid £10,000 or £20,000. All right, straight away. Okay, the tide turned for that individual. Straight away, everyone said, we can now not believe any of your reviews. They weren't saying that before, but just with that bit of information that they were getting paid large amounts of money, a certain degree of a certain aspect of the community turned on them. The same review, it's just with knowing they now get paid. So there's also a perception of the viewers, what people think.
Yes, then again,
that's important.
In that specific case, and I think most viewers will know what we talk about. That was his own fault, because very recently he or she, let's keep it cryptic, he or she published a video in which, in regards to one specific product, he or she pretty much made a U-turn in everything he or she said about 5, 6 or 8 years ago about the same product. Completely turnaround. Back then it was a long-lasting paint sealant with amazing hydrophobics. 8 years later, it never really was a paint sealant. It doesn't last long. It's not that hydrophobic. And you simply cannot explain this with a change in product development or products getting better or a change in opinion. If you make a 180 turn, there's obviously something wrong there. And then I said it's completely your own fault if people stop trusting you.
Absolutely.
And it's very public, and it's everyone can watch it.
Yeah, Karl's laughing his head off.
Wow.
Oh dear.
I might have read that.
So
might have read about that.
Yeah. It's a difficult one. It's all about perception as well.
I think as influencers, YouTubers, whatever you want to cast us as, we have as much to have integrity as the brands do. When we're giving our test, our review, we have to be as truthful as we can be. We should be being held up for our integrity as much as the brands. And I can't lie, because you can see it all over my face.
Yeah, and the thing is, we get a lot of stuff sent free, okay, and we're open and honest, because straight away YouTube forces us to be policy compliant and put paid promotion, and that's the link. Yeah, we're not getting paid, but if you look at the YouTube thing, it says if you are sent a free product, it's a paid promotion. Go and look at our videos; we always put that up there. But we've got no vested interest in lying. If we were doing reviewing, I don't know,
Swiss Wax,
no. Kronos, the decarbonizer from Labocosmetica, the exhaust, it's Kronos, isn't it? Kronos, yeah. Great product, by the way. Did a YouTube short on it, Reggie. I'm sure you've seen it. But we would have no vested interest in lying. So Labocosmetica sold 50. I'm not getting any money for it. All right. And I'm always conscious that I would hate, okay, for us to do a review, lie, say it was brilliant, 10, 20 people, and indeed some of our reviews have sold out. We know people go and buy stuff. And then half of them people emailed me saying, I don't know what the heck you did in your review, but we're not getting the results you got.
Exactly.
And that would destroy. You get the odd one or two, but we've got no vested interest in lying.
And realistically, your credibility. Sorry, Karl, go ahead.
I said that I'd feel guilty because they've gone out and spent their own hard-earned cash on a product that I've recommended and lied about. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't sit morally right for me.
Yeah, and even if you're not a decent human being as Karl is, from a business perspective, your credibility, the trust that people have in you as a content creator, that's everything you live off. Everything. Once it's gone, and then you can close up the channel.
Yeah,
And I mean,
campaign in the world
you
that can
asked
save
me
your face.
if I think that it's important or it should be disclosed if people get paid. That's a different discussion. What I personally struggle more with, and that's a very personal thing. Once I became a trainer for Sonax and once I became a trainer for Labocosmetica, I got criticized more and more often when I criticize other brands. I even got into some cases, I will not name names and not name brands, where some brand owners legally threatened me because they were claiming that I am down-talking those brands because I am employed by Sonax or Labocosmetica. That is a much, much, much thinner red line to walk on. And I'm sure Reggie has the same feelings. If Reggie sees something and wants to talk about something that another brand does, it's very, very hard for you once you become affiliated with a brand. That's much, much harder.
I'm lucky to be self-employed, and I'm deciding, I'm choosing to be here. So this is a mutual collaboration. We are both benefiting from both sides. I'm getting the dream job of my life, and they have somebody that is going to be motivated enough to represent this brand to the end, like a freaking soldier, like wearing a uniform, because that is how it has to be. And I have to stand fast and stand ground. For me, it's more difficult. I am scared shitless if I lie in a video and one day my son sees that video and my entire, you have to be honest and this and that, goes away in 5 minutes of digital projection that I recorded 10 years ago and then I said something incredibly stupid. I understand that. That kind of a loss of integrity, my conscience cannot handle. It's not about, I don't care about anybody else or people that I hardly know or whatever, but the people around me, those people I have to have that integrity for, and I'm really religious, so that also helps a lot.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
I mean, I'm not sure if we actually name it, but my suggestion for this podcast title was "The Struggles of Telling the Truth," and those are real struggles.
I can change the thumbnail.
Because
I can change the thumbnail.
Oh, good. Because sometimes, if you try to tell the truth, if you try to expose some things, and if you try to not even exposing, it's just making people aware of facts, because a pH value is stated in the SDS sheet. A potentially harmful ingredient is stated in the SDS sheet. If a brand tries to hide something by stating trade secret in the SDS sheet, that's a fact. You can look it up. And sometimes you get angry responses from people, angry messages in the best case scenario. Sometimes you even get legal threats by some brands or brand representatives. And in my case, it only makes it worse that I am doing trainings for Sonax and Labocosmetica. So those are the struggles of trying to make this industry a better place. The backlash you sometimes get. And
Andreas,
it's
do you
a
ever
backlash.
Do you ever think that you staying silent would be safer than you being so honest in the industry? Because a lot of people don't have the confidence to ask the questions, challenge claims that you do. They obviously default to keeping it safe. But you're quite confident in going headlong into that because you back it up, and that's what I've always said
Facts
to
are
you on all the
facts.
pod.
That's
Yeah.
Facts are facts. You can't discuss with facts. I don't know if it would be safer. It would definitely be smarter. I, as a person, we as a channel would grow much bigger, have much more influence if we would only do what everyone else or what most people do, just be positive. Say, apply a product to a car and then say, look how glossy that looks. Fantastic. Smells nice. Buy it. That would be much smarter from a business perspective or a personal growth perspective. But maybe I am not that smart and I am someone who needs this conflict. But my motivation in life and work, even outside the detailing industry, has always been, if I see a situation which can and should be better, I do everything I can to make it better, even if it's a lost struggle, if a lost battle sometimes.
So a question for Reggie and Andy, an honest opinion. Here's where we tap into you for some advice. We do critique. We do it in a professional, subtle manner. There are ways of critiquing a product, i.e., Karl's famous for saying things like, it's not the greatest beading. That's subtle for the beading's not very good. There's ways we do it. But do you, Reggie and Andreas, think that as a review channel, if something is... Karl and me are sitting on some videos where the actual performance was horrific. It was absolutely, we spent a whole day filming, and we did it the other day, and we just stopped because this was going nowhere. Do you think, okay, and then this is coming from Andreas' point of view and a brand owner, and I suppose, Reggie, when you asked the question, imagine it was a Labo, it wasn't, by the way, a Labocosmetica product. Would you give us advice that we should publish it in a professional way, that it's not upheld the claims, or do you think we should contact the brand, ask them, are they happy to, or do we just not do it? Because some people, YouTubers, say, what is the point in people watching our video for half an hour, it gets to the end, and you're not recommending it? They wasted 30 minutes of their life. Where do Reggie and Andreas think we should go? Because we take advice. Okay, we are... you're the professionals. What do you think?
I think you're a smart guy for asking this, because you're looking at it both ways. And one way you want to be honest very much, and the other way you want to keep engagement going on your channel. So what is going to be the most important thing? Is that integrity of speaking everything that you have been done? Because if something like this, if, for example, it's impossible that something like this would have happened with the Labo products, impossible. So let's say not even close, that it's going to be that disappointing. If you are so far from something, then you are, let's say that you followed to the letter that what is stated on the bottle in instructions. And if that happens, and it happens with a Lado product, I will be the first one to tell you that I will take the blame. And you can do the publishing and everything. And I will even probably come online and say, indeed, yes, what you have here is a rare case of something that is never going to happen again. Something like this.
Shall we talk about Hydrosafe?
Hydrosafe is a fantastic product if you use it according to the instructions. But that is something that nobody wants to do, but because it means you have to read little letters. And that is something that there are less and less people that can read. How many questions I get that you can answer by reading the label.
Yeah.
And if you do that, if you follow to the letter the instructions, and if you have then a success with the product, or you have then an extreme disappointment, then there's a reason to talk about something. Then you could go around and ask if there are many other people that have similar experience, or are you just one unique guy that had this experience? Now, and if you then find other peers of your kind that have the similar experience, you take up the torches and you storm the gates and you say, what is going on here? And we demand some explanation, because that is how we could have gotten to a very much better industry if the community was just going against the brands and saying, hey man, it's not a good product, we need something better. But that's not the case, sadly. We are going the other way around. Now everybody wants more and more easy, and now we are going back into the danger zones. We just left the danger zones, and now we're going back into the danger zones.
Yeah. I mean, what we do, Reggie, if we do a review and it's not working out, we'll if it's really bad, we will have a chat with the brand and give them that opportunity, because we are conscious that we're not professionals. We're trying a product most of the time for the first time. We give them an opportunity to have a conversation, because it's someone's livelihood, isn't it? Especially the smaller boutique brands. We don't want to do too much damage. And some of them say, don't publish the video. And then me and Karl are torn. And then I think if I talk to Andreas will say, no, if you've done it properly, if you follow the instructions, okay, you're in a safe place, publish it. So I'm going to ask Andreas that. What would you do if you were, because you do, he's a humble man. Andreas gives me and Karl and the channel, and has done for years, a lot of advice. So I value it. What would you do, Andreas?
Two things here. I often hear this argument, and that if you put out a negative video, you are impacting someone's business and employees and stuff like that. I think that's a strawman argument. If you are a brand and if you put out a product that you sell to the public, then you as a brand are telling us, I have done everything I can to make sure that this product works. And in that case, any argument against a reviewer that puts out a negative review is out of the window completely. If you publish a product, if you sell a product, then you are telling me this is the product, this is the best I can come up with. And then any negative video is okay, in my opinion. That's the first one. And then in regards to your question, should you publish it? I'll ask you 4 simple questions. Did you apply it exactly as the manufacturer states?
Yes.
Good. Was the experience or the results that you have, were they in line with what the brand claims? Do you feel that people who buy this product based on the brand's claim will be disappointed?
Yes.
Do you think the industry and the brand itself will be in a better place if you publish that video?
There's a difficult one. My conscience says yes.
Then by all means,
you have the answer.
Then by all means, publish it. Those are always the 4 questions I ask myself. And if you have given me the answers that you just gave me, by all means, publish it. Because That's a very good point. I told you in the beginning that Reggie and I hold ourselves to the same standards. Even if we have a paid partnership, I still have put out videos in which I criticized Labocosmetica. And even if I am a trainer for Sonax, I still have put out videos in which I criticized their products. Criticism is not bad. And that's the only part in this podcast where I will name names. That's where I disagree with Pan. Pan says I only publish positive videos because there's too much negativity out there, and that creates the impression that every critical video is automatically a negative one, and I completely disagree. Criticism is not negative, and it can actually help a brand get better in what they do. And I could give you so many examples of brands which are great at that. Labo is very good at that, taking up criticism and making products better. Sonax is, Ledermax is, Dodo Juice is, Stjerna Gloss is, Autobright was, we have to say at this point. But those are all brands I have been criticizing in the past. They all took it, even if I published a video, and they made their products better. That's how it should be. You as a content creator thinking about publishing a video because it's potentially negative, that should not be the case. It simply should not, in my opinion, it should not even be in your mind. If the product is shit and it does not hold up to the manufacturer's claims, we have to put it out.
Have you ever experienced something like this before, Andre? Have you ever experienced something like this before? Any other product that got this bad? Do you have any resemblance to any other product that ever happened like this? Or is this a unique case that nothing is right from the moment you used it to the... Because if that is the case, because I can almost impossibly that a real manufacturer is able to put out a product like that. If it has to be private label, white label, something like this, because I cannot believe that a research and development team is able to put out something that bad. No Sonax, no Labo, no Karl, none of them would ever do something like that, ever.
There can accidents happen. I mean, you, Reggie, told me about something
issues.
with a raw ingredient from... and the Korea thing,
true,
and I can't talk about an example because it is public. I made it public in a video. I once tested a product from Autobright. It was their ceramic spray wax, which did absolutely not perform according to what they claim. I made that video, I published it, I sent it to Autobright, and Mark's reaction was, let me check. And what they found out is that they actually had an issue with one of the ingredients. And they themselves did not get it, the customers didn't get it, and my review made them aware of that, and it led to a change in this one raw ingredient, and the actual product, which he then resent me, was better, and I did a follow-up video for that's the best case scenario. That's how it should be. We find something from a product that doesn't work, the manufacturer reacts, makes it better, and then everyone is better off. The brand is better off, we are better off, the consumer is better off. That's how we evolve this industry, not by holding back videos because of the fear of backlash.
I think a lot of this this backlash is, and I've got lots of questions, but I'm not going to ask them all. A lot of this, I've got questions like, do Facebook groups amplify misinformation? There is My degree is in psychology. I look at I always ask myself the question. I try and I try and psychoanalyze Andreas, and I get him. I wouldn't like to spend much time in Andreas's brain because I think it'd be a very dangerous place.
No. Wasn't there the movie with Jennifer Lopez where she got into the minds of people? Yeah. I think it would be something like that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good to get into people's minds? But I look at I look at why people are the way they are, why they do the things, and it really does entertain me. The another podcast, but pack mentality, the fanboy phenomenon. The tribal thing about brand loyalty, and brand loyalty, as we know, totally distorts clear thinking. I think, Andreas, we were on the podcast a year or two ago about the fact that there are certain brands who, in fact, Andreas, you warned me about some brand loyalty issues or tribal reaction to a comment I made, which I appreciate. But you could diametrically dismantle a product claim. You could actually do a review on a claim and show with empirical evidence that it doesn't work. And some people who got a tribal appreciation for a brand will just totally ignore it. I think that's going on as well, and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And that's also part of the struggles of telling the truth. This pack mentality or this extreme fanboyism, which honestly I am personally okay with because I understand it. You are a fan of a brand, and if someone puts out a critical video, you are trying to find reasons why it actually isn't the product, but it's the reviewer, it's a personal vendetta, it's anything. I understand it. It's only human, and I'm fine with that aspect. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have it, but I can understand it, and I
agree. And I think from a brand point of view, if I was Reggie, if I was or a brand owner, I'd actively go and try and get brand loyalty, because clearly that's going to be better from a sales point of view. So it depends which way you look at it.
And you are as a brand, you are making something right if you have that brand loyalty. So absolutely positive.
Reggie, you must have some fanboys. You must have a tribal.
Yes, groupies.
That's the word I was looking for.
Groupies.
Reggie groupies.
Yeah, that's just for Reggie though, isn't it? It's not for Labo.
Ooh. Well, I'm sure Reggie's frozen. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to ask some questions. Reggie's just got an internet issue, but that's fine. He'll come back on. I'm going to ask some questions to. I mean, Andreas, have you got anything really burning in your head that you want to ask on this truth bit? Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quite difficult questions to answer about solutionizing
not at the moment.
The problem.
Let's go through your questions.
Okay, so we just lost Reggie for a few minutes. I think he was either taking a little boy's break or he was off to get himself a coffee, but he is back. So we've been going for about an hour and a half. We're going to finish off with some sort of pointy questions, and probably the hardest questions, because we're now going to look at where the solution lies. So just out of interest, Andreas, possibly Reggie, do some brands blacklist reviewers who are too honest? The reason why I ask is I reached out to a brand once and I said, would you like us to do a review? And they said no. And through discussions, they were concerned how critical I was going to be. So I was a risk. I wasn't a safe bet. So that was a bit bizarre. I'm not going to mention the brand, but fair play to them. That's fine if that's their angle. But do you know of any brands that actually blacklist reviewers because they've seen how honest they have been? Have you been blacklisted, Andreas?
You mean in the sense that they refuse to work with you in any way, shape, or form? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Reggie
or must know more information than what we're.
It's just how fast he said it.
I mean,
you mean people that don't want to work with us? Yeah,
again,
a lot.
That's that's the beauty of if the brand owner is smart enough to make it public somehow, I can talk about it. There is a video of Greg Masterson's, a short video on YouTube, where he accuses me of intentionally down-talking his products because I am a Sonax employee. Bad for him that he doesn't know that I am not actually and technically a Sonax employee because I don't have a working contract with them. I just do the trainings for them in Switzerland, and that's it. That's so obviously Greg would not want to work with me, and there's also another example. I cannot name the brand, but last year I published a video which was 3 years in the working, where I delve very deep into how paint depth gogs work. And I found out some nasty things which we published there. Short version is they are not standardized, and everyone who puts a paint depth gog on the paint thinks that that's the actual paint depth, which is far from the truth. There are huge differences between those devices. And what I published in that video, in the first version, we had to take it down because the manufacturer of the one device threatened to sue us. And then I did a second version, which I actually think was worse for this manufacturer. But hey, that's what you get.
I did a video.
100% there's a blacklist. Yes.
I did a video and it was out for about 10 seconds. And then the brand contacted me saying, take the video down. They hadn't even watched it. They just didn't want a video. Very, very well-known brand. I'll talk to you offline. Very, very interesting. So a couple of questions. And this goes back to it links into the health and safety debates that were going on social media last week about big arguments about health and safety. Some people getting very, very defensive, very defensive. So my question is disagreement mistaken for disrespect? Because there seems to be, as soon as you disagree about something to someone, you've disrespected them. Do you see what I mean? We should be able to challenge someone, correct them, without them taking it personally. Is that just a characteristic of us being human beings? I don't know. There seems to be a lot of that going on, isn't there? That if you critique
Reggie,
someone, they take it personally.
Reggie, how does your famous saying with opinions and facts go? Reggie has a very, very good saying in that respect, because I think that's the root cause of the issue.
So the detailing industry is divided in 3 groups. 70% is personal opinion, 29% is emotion, and the last % is science. That is how detailing is. I feel, I think, I believe. That's how it goes, and that's why you go. And if you do not agree, because now it's the fault of the influencers, it's the fault of the brands, that your opinion became important, although it's not. Your single, alone important opinion is not that important. As soon as you have a collective group of people sharing the same opinion, we are going somewhere.
Yes.
But if you are one guy just screaming, just got one guy with I think you mean the phrase, it's about the anus, with the asshole.
No, the other one. The other one with
because everybody's got an opinion, it's just like an asshole, but most of the time it's only shit coming out, so.
I love that.
I have on my phone a very good quote from Ricky Gervais. Beliefs do not change facts. Facts, if one is rational, should change beliefs. I think that is the root cause of it all, because we are not able to separate between opinions and facts.
That's the one. The opinions.
That's beautiful.
And facts. That's the one, Andreas.
Yep.
That's the root cause. That yes, absolutely. Emotions get in our way, and a lot of discussions which could be prevented are because people just assume that if you criticize them or hint to something that may potentially be perceived as negative, they take it personal. They think you are attacking the person.
Go on, Karl.
I think, and this is another issue with social media, certainly from a written perspective.
Yes.
You cannot always tell by the context of what's being written what they're meaning from it, because vocal change actually may change how you're meaning what you're putting across in words, and I think that's a large proportion is where it's misconstrued, I think, and where people think it's a personal attack, where actually you're just trying to it is an opinion, although most of the time, to be fair, Andreas, yours is fact, but you're trying to put it in a polite manner, but people don't take it in a polite manner because it's written, and I think that what causes a lot of
but then again, people don't believe me, but I am very self-critical, and I am completely aware that I have built up a reputation, and then that people think they believe how I mean things, and that I can get across very German, direct, very aggressive. I absolutely understand that, and that's why, as Karl said, I try to write, if I write something, I try to write it in the best possible, politest manner, but it still can get across aggressively. I totally understand that.
Karl's very. I'm not going to blow sunshine up Karl's ass, but Karl is keeps me on track on the videos because let's be honest, there's been a few videos whereby I don't know, something's gone wrong, and I'll say, "Oh, that'll be all right." Karl stops me there and then. It says, "No, okay, we're going to take it off. We're going to do it again." There has been so many times when I've just said, "We'll just get it done. We'll just get it done." Karl, every single time, and I feel there and then, "Oh, I've let myself down a bit," but I love that. I love that. He really does have a wants to do it correctly, which I totally respect, Karl. But that's the only compliment you're getting, and that's going to cost you £20.
But the thing is we've said,
and
like you said, we've known each other 15 years, and we can be honest with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that honesty that we have with each other comes across on camera. And I think
100%, yes. And just to follow up to what I just said, I think I struggled more with the fact that I have a reputation of being the direct, scientific guy, German guy, although I am Austrian. I struggled with it more in the past. During the last year, I developed the understanding that maybe it's a good thing.
Yes.
Maybe it's a good thing that some brands are scared of me, because then they're obviously something wrong. If they're scared of me, they're obviously doing something which is not right, shady, a little bit in the gray area. Maybe it's a good thing.
Totally agree.
Probably both, but
Totally agree with you, Andrew. I think you should almost be proud of the reputation you've got, because I think you should.
Yes and no.
And I don't agree with what you said. I mean, what I do like about you, Andreas, is I'll mention a couple of. I did a Swiss wax review with Karl, and you got totally the opposite. You basically gave me a call and we discussed it. There was the Angel wax. I think it was atomic. I think we got slightly different results. You phoned me up. I think we're
not the opposite. Slightly.
So we have discussions about that, and that's where. I want to be challenged, okay, because I genuinely do.
It's a good thing.
I found myself. We found ourselves in a difficult situation. We reviewed G-Technic. What's the spray on sealant, Karl? G-Technic.
The new wet coat
Hydrocoat. Is it Hydrocoat?
Yeah.
And it was really, really good for us. Wet coat. Really, really good for us. It did everything it said and everything. And then people started having problems, and then it was a product recall. And I'm thinking, but I thought, we got the product. We tested it. It worked. That's all I can do. But go on, Karl.
That was G-Technic Hydro. That you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Good example. Yeah.
And I spoke to the brand. I think I was at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I spoke to the brand there, and it was something very similar to Andreas had. It was a chemical issue with that batch that had caused it. We got the batch beforehand. Okay. They'd had a quality of chemical that was put in with this batch was incorrect to what it should have been. That's what was explained to me.
That's not the first time I hear something similar from other brands. Yeah.
But at that point, thanks, Karl. At that point in time, it did make me think. But then I searched within myself, and we did everything right. We had the moral compass, Karl, keep making sure I did everything that I should be doing, and it did work. So, and it was quite a relief when I found out that the batch that we got was okay.
To be honest, and that's a great example. Sometimes it's not the product you're reviewing. Sometimes it's that you as a reviewer left out a general overview of the product category, because every wet coat or spray and rinse product out there, every single one of them can create streaking issues.
Yes.
Every single one of them, especially the ones which are as hydrophobic as the G-Technic is. It's just the limitations of chemistry. Those are extremely reactive products. And as soon as you let it dwell too long, it's too hot outside, the paint is not perfectly wet, you have pre-existing protection. Sometimes it's you as a reviewer maybe left out the information about that every product in that category can have these issues. It's not the product's fault. It's just you have to give the viewer some realistic interpretation of a context of what is it that we're actually looking at.
You had that problem, Karl, didn't you, on your car with a certain spray on sealant in an orange bottle?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
That definitely has a streaking issue. But then again, when I do reviews on this category of product, by now I tell the viewers, for me, those are winter products. In the winter, you don't have these issues. I don't recommend to use any of those in the summer.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Because they all have the same.
I'm going to do a round robin too. I'm just conscious that it's 1 hour 43 minutes, so I'm just going to direct some questions at. I'm going to ask Reggie. We've identified an issue with trust. We've had a really healthy conversation. What responsibility do brands have?
Let's say the marketing department can be a little bit in a gray area. Doesn't have to be factually, stackfully, but the things around that, so the factual things, the ingredients, risks and safety, SDS and stuff like that. And then get your asses on some independent bodies and test some stuff out. Go from some other labs, and then VDA's one of them, but there are many, many others that you can go. Research labs. Many governments already have them. If you want to import to their countries, the government's going to inspect your product if it's capable of being sold. Very strict legislation and stuff like that. And when everybody does that, and I'll be the first to admit that you can put anything inside, even if it's depleted uranium, but just mention it's on there, and it just mention the first part from the SDS is always what you should do to prevent. So the risks, the safeties, and inhalation and stuff like that. Basically, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know there's depleted uranium in there. The risks and safety should get you out of that danger zone. So if you follow the rules of the risk and safety, then you are going to be good. If you watch the gloves, wear the gloves, you wear the glasses, and it doesn't matter that these harsh chemicals are inside anymore because you are taking precautions. And
so do you think product testing and longevity claims should be standardized across the industry?
At some point, yes, but like I said, the majority rule will be the people that feel, think, and do these tests. So to see a review, I'm looking at a review because for personal opinion, there is nothing that this YouTuber or detailer is doing that I can take with me to the lab and say, hey, we found something. Absolutely nothing. No chemical that they are using. No technique that they are using, no water beading test that they are doing. They are so far from the ISO and ASTM tests. They are so far that they are not easily comparable. And then put your money where your mouth is. If it cleans, show that it cleans. Don't tell me that it's dirty. Show me that it's dirty. Don't look how dirty the car is. No, it's not dirty. If it's dirty, you don't have to tell me the car is dirty. I will make my own assumption that there is dirt on the car. I don't need a finger on that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Andreas, what responsibility do content creators have?
I totally agree.
Know the facts. Don't try or separate between test reviews and product presentations. And most importantly, the main task of a reviewer or tester is testing whether the claims of the manufacturer are true. That's the definition of a test. You look at what the brand claims, you look if the product performs or does actually that, and if it does, you can praise it. If it's not, you can
I've never thought,
I
love that.
Simple truth.
I've never thought of it like that. And that's quite a clinical way of looking at it, but that's all we can do really, isn't it?
That's all.
That's the basis of the test. But I've never actually gone into a test thinking that. Me and Karl have just got in, right, we've got to show people us washing the car. We've got to do an application test, a removal test, a gloss enhancement, swirl filling, darkening test, hydrophobic beading, sheeting and everything. And then we're going to come to a conclusion. But actually, the script of our video should be what is claimed on that product, okay, and we do our test in relation to that. That's a good way of thinking.
Then again, maybe the harder truth is not everyone should be a tester or reviewer. Mm-hmm. If you want to be a channel that just shows how products are applied, by all means be that channel. If you want to be the positive channel which only raves about product, please do that. But then don't call yourself a tester or reviewer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A test or review has some basic scientific requirements to it.
Yeah, don't fake it.
Not everyone needs to be a tester.
Yeah, Reggie.
Don't start mentioning surfactants and stuff like, oh no, there's SLS inside, because if I see one other guy make another video and state that this is in there because it's dangerous, I'm gonna make sure that I find out that he's using a certain hair shampoo in his bathroom and his wife is, and I will find 5 products that contain the exact same surfactant, and then it's not a problem. Then it's a point for person. Then it's different SLS. No, man, it's the exact same one.
Then again, that whole discussion about ingredients, SDS sheets, looking at those, that's a whole different
I would say,
discussion.
man, just
in
follow
itself.
the instructions. Wear your glasses and your gloves. Don't let dry. Keep it out of direct sunlight and cool surface. And then you'll probably be successful with 99.9% of all chemicals and cleaners. Just do these couple of things.
For people on Spotify, Reggie's getting super animated and is almost dancing for us. There's arms and legs anyway. I'm loving your passion. Here's a quick one for you then, Reggie and Andreas. I've got a test on the go at the moment. I've got a glass cleaner, all right? I've looked at the SDS and I've found it manifests itself in 2 bottles. One for kitchen, one for detailing. It's $1.99 as a kitchen product. It's $11.99 as a detailing product. Almost identical product. What's that all about?
Watch out. Not every ingredient of a product is in the SDS. That's a very popular misconception. You only see the potentially harmful or dangerous ingredients in there. You don't see everything.
Okay.
So it's not necessary if you have 2 SDS sheets that state the same, that it actually is the same product at the end.
Yeah,
Do you
and
think
who's
there's
legislating?
Yeah. Do you think there's people just slap on a premium because it's detailing? Because
sure
essentially they're cleaning products, aren't they? They're surfactants.
I'm sure.
just to wind up Reggie.
I'm sure it happens. Then again, you can make the argument from a manufacturer's point of view in a kitchen glass cleaner that does not have to be safe for seals, window seals, rubber parts, plastic parts, leather surfaces, and so on. So you can make that argument, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, Reggie, we're going to say something there.
Yeah, I got another one for you. So you say it's the glass cleaner detailer was $11.99, and then the kitchen glass cleaner. I got another one. A guy in the Netherlands is buying drying towels for cars and selling them online for bathroom drying towels. Double the money. So you already know how much a towel is flipping in worth from the production to the actual detailer buying, and this guy buying then the detailer price and putting them online and then ripping off these old ladies that don't want to dry the entire bathroom, so they buy a freaking towel that's twice the size and twice the money of the
Touche.
Yeah, that's then again
the other way around.
Yeah, you're right.
Then
Reggie.
again, we also have to take a step back and look at the simple economic facts and the context of it, because we also tend to forget that a kitchen glass cleaner is probably produced in the billions, whereas a detailing glass cleaner is produced in the thousands, maybe. So there will be a difference in production costs. So there can be an economic reason why the one product costs a little bit more than the other one.
Absolutely. Right, next question. Karl, are you ready? You've got the difficult one, and Reggie alluded to it at the start of this 2-hour podcast. What responsibility do consumers have?
Well, Reggie said it several times. Read the bloody instructions. Know what
RTFM.
It's bloody. It's that easy, but it's having a general understanding of what that product can do. Whether that's reading the instructions, having a look at the SDS, understanding what that product is capable of doing to the car. Because yes, the manufacturer has that responsibility to ensure the instructions are correct, the SDS is available, but the use of that is still with that end user, so they hold the responsibility to that, to understand. You know, you can't always just go back to the manufacturer and blame the manufacturer if you haven't done what's expected of you as an end user.
Due diligence. Absolutely. Yeah.
I would add to that, it's also the responsibility of every consumer to hold brands responsible. And I often hear the sentence, we can't do anything. Yes, you can. Just don't buy that bloody product. Buy another one. You can have a vote with your money.
Absolutely. That was quite a good answer, Karl. I decided to give you the difficult one. People see me giving blind wax tests, and I give Karl a hard time. I love it. I love it.
I'm feeling a slight tendency to underestimate Karl.
He is. He's very well. You've got to remember, I mean, I don't know if you know, Reggie, Karl hadn't done any detailing probably about 3 years ago. It must be about
Really?
That. Yeah, he didn't know anything. He's done quite a few training courses at UK Detailing Academy. He's had the G-Technic training and various other stuff. And he is like a sponge. Karl and Andreas, we did the PVD theory exam as well. And I think, what did you get? You passed after about a year and a half in detailing. I think you got 18.
That was extremely impressive. And
it was,
maybe that's a good point to end this podcast. We are very critical, and we try to bring truth to the industry, and we look at it maybe from a slightly too negative point of view. But then again, what this man here, Karl, achieved in 3 years, being able to pass a test that was created to test professional detailers is just amazing. Reggie's light just went out. Is just absolutely amazing, and shows what this industry can be. It can be a positive thing. It can be an emotionally positive thing.
Absolutely.
But it's not all positive, and we still need to stay critical, and that's what we try to do.
Absolutely. For people on Spotify, Reggie's gone night vision goggle mode. He's gone all special forces on us. Excellent. Right, I agree with Andreas. What we're looking at, nearly 2 hours. So I think in the future we could probably reattack this. I've got pages and pages of questions. But like you said at the start, the conversation continues. We've discussed a lot. We've expressed our opinions. They are but 4 opinions, and opinion is by its nature subjective. So please contribute, discuss, ask us questions. Reggie, Andreas, and Karl will be looking at the comments as well, and give us ideas for future stuff. So I'm just going to
maybe as a suggestion, we can collect the questions that people have in the comments. We can collect the rest of your questions. We can do a follow-up episode where we just answer the questions of the viewers and everyone in it in regards to the topic at hand.
I'm down for that, and maybe we could go live with it, because we haven't done a live podcast yet.
Yeah. We do it live.
Yeah, absolutely. So before Reggie's, I think there's a power shortage in Holland at the moment because he's getting progressively darker. I'm just going to give everyone a quick opportunity to give final thoughts and give us some information as to what's going on in the life coming. Is there anything we can look forward to? So, Karl, I'll come to you first. How did you find the podcast went, and what you doing in the future?
Exactly what I thought the podcast was going to be, which is incredibly interesting from my side. I love that side of it where we can all have an adult discussion, put our points across. That is what I always enjoy. What we got up coming up the future, I think me and you are getting together this weekend, Andy, for another video. So I'm intrigued on what we're doing, and just enjoying being a granddad. I think that's the other bit. Congratulations. Love it.
That's fantastic.
Lots to look forward to. Andreas, this is podcast 2, so I asked you the question in podcast 1, which we haven't released yet. But what are you up to, young man?
I mean, I will, unless the industry makes a U-turn and suddenly everyone gets better at this whole truth thing, I will continue what I have been doing. I will make people aware of things. I will expose things. I will talk about things. I will criticize things, all in me trying to make the industry a better place. And to finish it with something positive for the brands out there, because we obviously criticize brands quite a lot. If you actually want to learn something from marketing literature, there's this model which is called the Kano model. Everyone can look it up and can do his own research. It is far better to under-promise and over-deliver than to over-promise and under-deliver. Far better from a scientific point of view. And that's what I want to give as a tip to all the brands out there. Stop this nonsense claims. Just let the products speak for themselves. And as Reggie said, make proper products. Because then me and everyone else out there and you guys have nothing else than positive to report if all the products actually work.
Love that. Thank you, Andreas. Reggie, final thoughts? Any exciting things coming up in the world of Labocosmetica over the next year?
Absolutely. I'm not going to disclose anything, but some other things other than some protection for certain areas of the car will come out this year. I am most definitely confident that we will manage to do that this year.
Excellent. And you heard it here.
And because Reggie is very, very humble,
yes,
if you want to try an absolutely amazing ready-to-use APC, please all go ahead and buy Labocosmetica Varius. It is such a mind-blowingly positive, and you see, I can do positive things.
You can.
It is a mind-blowingly positive and good, amazing product. Please go all ahead and try that one.
I will put links in the video description.
No. that product is something else.
And on even better, you heard it here first. Reggie Cox has confirmed that he will be making a pace wax within the next 12 months. And Andreas Schwarzinger and Andrew Fraser and Karl Hampson will be the first to test it on social media. What a guy. What a guy. Okay. It's been a fantastic. That's literally coming up to 2 hours. Reggie Cox, dialing in from Holland. Thank you very, very much. I know we are a small channel, but I really do appreciate you coming on and spending 2 hours with you. And I would relish the opportunity to do a live podcast, like Andreas said. Come back, answer some questions if you can spare the time as well.
Let me know. I'm there.
Beautiful.
You may be a small channel, but it's not about the size.
Quality over quantity.
Absolutely. No, really appreciate it.
What my wife keeps saying.
Appreciate that.
Well, you're the granddad now, so you are the expert in that.
Absolutely, yeah. Someone swim in straight lines, don't they? And fantastic. Andreas, have I asked you? Yes, you're going to carry on doing what you're doing. Right, okay, so if you like the kind of thing we do, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got to do the YouTube thing. Go and have a look at our YouTube channel where we've got over 200 videos of detailing tests, etc. And keep an eye on this because we will be getting Reggie back. We will be getting Andreas back. We have got a host of guests wanting to come on the podcast and just have some real honest discussions. But like I said, carry on the conversation in the comments, and that's where the real value of topics are. So I will welcome everyone to say a final goodbye, and I'm going to spend the next 3 weeks editing this video. So Reggie Cox, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
See
you on the next one.
Karl Hampson, thank you very much.
Bye.
You got to say something. Thank you. And Andreas, he will be back without a doubt.
I will be back.
Andreas, it was your idea.
I have to do it with the accent, right? I'll be back.
Absolutely. I'm getting some thumbnail ideas here. So great idea, Andreas. Thanks for teeing up Reggie for us as well. And from me, a massive goodbye until the next podcast. Keep safe and happy detailing. So take care.
Thanks for watching.